They pop crowds. They pop corn. They pop culture. It's the Lowdown.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the latest installment of the Lowdown Popcast. I am the voice of PCW, Elliot Popston, and the voice of Demon Football, and Stance E-Claws. And with me tonight is six-time fantasy football champion, six-time fantasy football champion. He is Kevin Nash's soon-to-be favorite podcaster. He is a podcast enthusiast. He has been known to outwork everyone, just like his favorite wrestler. Not your average wrestling mark, Mr. Johnathan Winberg.
What's up, man?
The handbook. What's up, man?
Yeah, handbook. No, I'm glad to be here. It's a different vibe here. We're trying something new.
Dude, we are trying something new tonight, and I'm sure everyone is wondering, where's Shane?
I don't know. He just didn't show up tonight. He's probably sleeping. We've almost had that happen a couple times.
First and foremost, we'd like to welcome Mr. A. Welcome NCFPEJWU. Thank y'all for joining us as we're live right here in Casa de Popston. If this is your first time listening to us, before we continue, we have to say thank you to one of our sponsors that wouldn't be able to do this without Day Soul Coffee Lab out of Birmingham, Alabama. Guys, I'm a coffee connoisseur. I absolutely love coffee. I drink it all the time.
I heard Santa Claus loves coffee too.
Santa. See, I've always heard that Santa's go-to choice for drink to stay awake during Christmas Eve and all that on that late night. I've always heard it was like eggnog or maybe some hot chocolate. But from what I have learned and from what I know is Santa loves the holiday blend, especially from Day Soul Coffee Lab. And guys, what we have for you is Day Soul Coffee Lab, www.daysoulcoffeelab.co. Head on over there, enter the promo code Lowdown, and get 10% off your order. Guys, they will send coffee directly to your door. They have a monthly subscription option, and I'm telling you, it's the absolute best coffee I've ever tasted. So head on over to their website, enter the promo code Lowdown, and take advantage of this amazing offer. I promise you will not regret it. My favorite, my current go-to is 2.5 scoops of holiday blend, 1.5 scoops of the bourbon barrel reserve. Grind them together, mix them up, brew them. Man, slap your mama good. So good.
Sounds pretty good.
Man, I'm telling you, it is. But hey, Shane's not with us. Shane's
living it up, living the good life.
Yeah. It's the slap your mama blend. That's what they should call it. You're right. It is the slap your mama blend on that. Shane's not with us. Shane is got his toes in the sand. Happy 10-year anniversary to the Shane event host, New York's greatest export, Shane Dorr, who's enjoying his time with his lovely wife down in Jamaica. If you listen to Shane, we hope you're enjoying it, man.
I told him he should call in.
He should call in. He should definitely call in. Guys, there should be an option if you're listening right now and want to call in, guys. hit that call-in button. We'd love to have you on, talk to you, shoot the breeze and stuff. We got some exciting stuff happening. Got some this or that. We got wrestling news. William Regal, he gone. I mean,
Definitely seems that way.
I mean, he's H's boy is out the door, is what it seems.
See, I'm still not sold that Punk is gone, but with the way everything happened on Wednesday night with Regal and all the news that has come out since then, he's gone.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. And here's the thing, right? It seems like every time that one of these wrestlers, managers, whoever gets released, suddenly there's something bad to say about the company, right? And who knows? Maybe it's true. Maybe everything that Regal is saying has weight to it, is valid. But come on,
be clear. He hasn't come out and said anything. It's just been rumored that that's how it's feelings behind the scenes. But
yeah, I get it. But anyways, got some exciting stuff happening in the wrestling world still. Everything's still up in there about CM Punk. Old Meltzer has changed his. He's completely gone. Well, it's still not
slowly starting to change. He might not be so sure, or he's not as sold on his stance anymore. But.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy.
And it was confirmed that Punk will be in the Fight Forever video game.
Yes.
He just got taken off the cover art. So.
Yeah, that was confirmed yesterday or today. So, real quick shout out to Ultra B Seats, man. Thank you for joining us live, guys. Again, if you want to call in, there should be a little phone button that you can hit. If you want to call in and ask a question, talk about some stuff, we'd love to chat it up with you. But man, we got some AEW Dynamite coming on tomorrow. Normally we would say today, but we're live and it's Tuesday night, baby. So if you're catching this on Wednesday, then today you'll have AEW Dynamite on TBS, 8 Eastern time. And
can't wait. It's got a pretty good looking card already.
Yeah, but let's talk about some AEW stuff that I saw today with apparently two people hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on this bandwagon for a little while now, and no reports have come out, but it seems likely, or at least it seems the direction they're headed. Maybe around what I was thinking. So
yeah. So for those of you who this is your first time tuning in, or something, Altered B Seats. I'll use your gimmick name. I don't know if you want me to use your real name or not. If you do, just throw it in the chat. Brett Seats. You're right. It is Naomi and Jade that we're talking about here. Naomi and Jade. Naomi Fatu. Married to one of the Usos. We saw them at a basketball game, chilling, man, looking like besties.
Yeah.
What's the possibility you think Naomi comes in, replaces Kira Hogan as a baddie, and then we have Mercedes come in to talk some sense into Naomi?
I don't know. I like that. So, quick backstory. We were watching Dynamite on Wednesday this past week, and Jade came out for her celebration, and her attire was all money themed, and we know that Sasha Sasha Banks, Mercedes, has trademarked a few statements or a few names that included the word Monet.
Monet.
So take that for what it is. But then the segment kind of ended with Bow Wow showing up on screen saying that he would see Jade soon, and immediately it just kind of the way it was building up, like something was going to happen or it was going to lead to something, not just like a one-off thing. And we all know that Snoop Dogg is Sasha Banks' uncle, and it was I don't know if you know this, but Snoop Dogg was actually the one that gave Bow Wow his little Bow Wow.
Yeah.
So,
you mentioned that last week too, I think.
So,
or maybe they mentioned that on one of the shows.
I think we were messaging in the
gotcha.
chat, but so I could see I see it highly likely, or I could see it playing out where Bow Wow shows up to confront Jade, something happens, and then he calls in some reinforcements, and it ends up being Mercedes, formerly known as Sasha Banks. But the pictures that came out today with Jade and Naomi so it made me think it was going to happen a little bit more just because they were photographed together. But at the same time, it almost makes me wonder how it's going to happen because we all know that Mercedes and Naomi are best friends. So I don't know. I'd be curious to see how it's going to play out if that's the direction they're going in.
Yep, and then also same time it could just be a shoot, just a shoot photo.
It could be.
You know how us wrestling marks like to be. We like to read into everything. So,
and it was confirmed that Sasha Banks, Mercedes, has finished filming her lead movie role, which is what she's been doing. So she's got a lot of free time on her hands coming up, or at least so it seems.
Yeah.
The one thing that had me worried was I thought maybe it seemed like it was gonna be a big thing, and then somehow Bow Wow was just gonna have Kiera Hogan kind of come out and confront Jade. But
man, I hope they wouldn't build that up like that.
Well, that's what I was just in the back of my mind. I was just worried that they're gonna make it seem like something that's not gonna be as big of a deal. That's just kind of how it goes. But this week, tomorrow, they're having on Dynamite is Jade and the Baddies versus Madison Rain, Sky Blue, and Kiera Hogan. So I think the fact that she's in that match and it wasn't that she just hadn't shown up in a couple of weeks tends to lead that that's not the direction they're going. That it's going to be somebody coming in. I mean, Jade's got to lose at some point.
Yeah. Brett says, unpopular opinion, I dislike Sasha Banks. I mean, well, I can understand that. I can understand that, Brett. Yeah, there's a lot of people who dislike Sasha. I don't know as a person. I do think she's really good in the ring. I definitely think she brings something to the women's division. But yeah, I can see where you feel like she has that arrogance about her. I get that. So yeah, let's go and run down this card. What you think?
So like I said, we got Jade and the Baddies versus Madison Rain, Sky Blue, and Kiera Hogan. So I could definitely see Bow Wow maybe showing up or doing another video package somewhere with that match. Tony Schiavone is going to sit down with Jamie Hayter for, I think, her first interview since winning the belt. We'll also hear from MGF, so I'm be curious to hear what he's got to say after the whole William Regal thing.
Yeah.
We'll hear
TNT title match.
Yep.
Samoa Joe versus Darby Allin, the first TNT champion.
Yeah. Be curious. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
Joe's a big boy.
Joe's a big boy.
Darby likes to
throw himself around everywhere.
We'll see how that goes.
Welcome, Joe. Welcome, Joe Bell, real quick to the channel, man. Thanks for tuning in. Go ahead.
Then we got Jake Hager and Daniel Garcia versus Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Should be a banger of a tag match.
Come on.
Not the best tag match of the night, but a banger tag match.
Oh, no, it's definitely not the best tag match, but yeah.
Got the more entrants announced to the Dynamite Diamond Battle
Royale. Yep. Royale.
And then the main event, or what I would assume is the main event, the Acclaimed.
You think they're going to leave that as the main? Or you think they kick off with that?
I think it's got to be the main event.
Yeah, we'll hear from John Moxley. That's probably. Think we kick off with that probably.
I think
TNT.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I'll go back to Shane's Mr. Doors. Revelation that it always kind of starts with the Ring of Honor and then ends with AEW. So I think it might open with the TNT title since Joe also has the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, the Acclaimed versus FTR for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Should be a heck of a match. About time. I read somewhere that the Acclaimed or FTR has been a number one contender since April, and this is the first time getting a tag match.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I don't know if it's been like that on every graphic, but they said in April they won a title match or won a number one contenders match, and this is their first shot at the AEW World Tag Titles.
I
think Dax might have actually just shared that.
Man, that Dax better get the best. He better get rest of the year, man.
He's definitely had a good list. Yep, April 7th, we became number one contenders. December 7th, we finally get our shot.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah. So 8 months exactly to the day.
8. Man, that's just hard to believe, dude.
And rumors are their contract may be up soon. So, I think if AEW wants to keep them around, they might have to do something, start showcasing them a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's a weird statement to say, after all, like you just said with Dax and Wrestler of the Year. I mean, he's definitely been in a lot of showcase matches, but it feels like a lot of times, Dynamite at least, that they're just kind of stuck in tape promos or promos backstage. They don't really do a whole lot.
Brett asked, what's our opinion on the Usos getting the PW Tag Team of the Year?
I don't like it.
Here's my thoughts on that, Brett. I could see it happening, especially with how long they've held the titles. But in my personal opinion, and I think I'm going to assume Jonathan probably feels the same way on this based on his response just now. I definitely feel like FTR's body of work is much better. Is much better this year. I say that because you arguably have the best, in my opinion, the best wrestler, or the person who should get Pro Wrestler of the Year, in Dax Harwood on the team. I don't think Roman or either one of the Usos should get that, but it doesn't mean that they won't.
So I find it kind of funny on.
They did. Excuse me, they did get it. It's not should they get it? It's they did get it. My apology for not understanding that, Brett.
So Dax shared the PWI page where it showed that the Usos won, and he shared the article and said, "Did Paul Heyman write this issue? Because this S is full of lies."
I mean, is he lying?
I think it was Usos are number 1, FTR number 2, I believe, and then the Briscoes number 3.
Interesting.
I believe that's how it's broken down.
Guys, also let us know if you can hear this okay, please. This is a new way we're doing it, so if you have any troubles hearing, please let us know. If it's too loud, if it just got louder or anything, just let us know. As we're his volume just went up a bit. Is it better? Is it worse? Oh, it was good. All right, I'll fix that right now. Sounds good now. Perfect. Thanks, Brett. Appreciate you, man. Brett, why don't you call in, dude? Why don't you you should see a call button right there on that app. Looks like a little phone. Let's see. Let's have you on. Let's chat it up. And we'll just while we wait on you, we'll keep going through some stuff. Keep going, Jonathan.
Not to change the subject off AEW, but I kind of want to hear. So I didn't get a chance to go Saturday, but how was PCW?
Oh man, dude. So first off, there was a surprise there whenever I got there. There was a surprise guest in the back who was helping produce, and it was none other than Martin Stone. For those of you who are like, who's Martin Stone? Martin Stone was known as Danny Burch on NXT. He tag teamed with Only Lorcan. Strong Style Brit is his Twitter and Instagram handle, but he was there, and man, this guy he's super nice guy. I posted I posted something about him on Instagram, and I also made a tweet about him, guys, that you can follow at the Elliot Posted and at Lowdown Podcast. And Jonathan, you got a Twitter and stuff too, don't you?
I do.
So,
at John Winburn.
Cool. Yeah, I think your Instagram's at Jonathan Winburn.
J Winburn 619.
Gotcha. So,
not to be confused with Rey Mysterio 619.
Booyaka. So, nevertheless, he was there, and man, we talked and stuff. He was just a nice guy, and man, I watched this guy who's been wrestling over 20 years, who this year has had, I believe he told me, 4 shoulder surgeries this year. Just trying to get his shoulder right. I watched this guy sit in the back, literally watch every match on the monitor, pour into these guys who are, trying to make wrestling for a living, right? And man, I just love seeing someone who's been successful take their knowledge, give their critique, and help refine and make someone better. And man, that is just it's a beautiful thing to see, for sure. But he did that. He was there with these guys. He was pouring into them, critiquing them, giving them pointers on stuff. Hey, I heard him tell one of the guys, hey, something as small as something as small as, hey, this moment you could have, after you body slammed him or after you slammed him or suplexed him or whatever, there was an opportunity there where you could have jumped on him to create more heat. But instead you kind of just waited, which was good, but maybe next time think about jumping on there. Times you suplex him and he's holding his back, you jump on him, you hit him. Or, hey, you took a power driver, and after the power driver, you just kind of laid there whenever you could have kind of grabbed your neck to really sell the move a little bit more. And man, just seeing stuff like that, some points of view, dude, it was good. Oh, here we go. Let's see here. Let's see how this works. Guys, welcome to the show. Calling in, our first caller ever. Brett Seats. Brett, you there, man?
Evening,
The one and only.
Brett, what is up, dude?
Not too much. How are y'all tonight?
Oh man, dude, I'm just listen, I'm just excited that this is happening right now.
It's a
Definitely
distinct
wanted
honor
somebody
to
to
be in
call
our
in, right?
first live.
Yeah, man. This is something we were trying out. It's new, and man, I appreciate you calling in. So you've been in the chat, very active. Thanks for that. And I see that you're talking about the Usos getting the Pro Wrestling Tag Team of the Year, and how you were kind of dumbfounded at the fact that they got it over FTR as well. I mean, what's your thoughts, man?
Well, like I said about Sasha earlier, I'm not a huge fan of the Usos. I'm not a huge fan of the Bloodline at all. Period. I don't like the whole got to cheat to win everything.
So you think that's hurt them more than it's helped them?
Well, not really. They seem to be more popular than ever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a fair argument. Fair.
I want to give some of that credit to Sammy.
Yeah, that's equally fair on that. Do you think if not for Sami Zayn right now, do you think they would be just as popular, not as popular?
I think they would be just as popular.
Nearly as popular.
From
you do.
Go ahead, Brett.
You said you don't think they'd be nearly as popular?
No, I was just listening to you. Yeah, you do.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I still think they would be popular. I just think I think Sammy's definitely added a new element, but I think if the Sammy thing wouldn't have worked out, it definitely would have been the Usos versus Sammy and KO by now. I think that's the direction they're eventually going to end up at. But I don't know. They've been around for so long. They've kind of always been popular. I don't see the bloodline thing taken away from that. I think it's if anything, solidified the Samoan dynasty even more as a whole. Within them and Roman just kind of running the show.
Speaking of Samoan dynasty, did y'all see the callback to Umaga by Solo?
Very nicely done.
That was very nice. I'll tell you what, I'm a fan of Solo. I like him a lot. I like the headhunter protector type of thing. Brett, what's something you got a question on? Maybe you want our opinion on, and we'll let you go.
Oh no, I'm good.
Or what's something you want to make a statement on? As long as it's not Gamecocks.
As long as we're talking about the Gamecocks. Roman. As long as we're talking about Roman, something that it's bugged me for a while now is the fact that the fans just absolutely loathed that guy for so long and didn't want to see him get the title and just hated him. And now all of a sudden he is the best thing since sliced bread.
I think that, Brett, we appreciate the call, man. I think that, I think a lot of that has to do with them just allowing him creative freedom and everything to do what he had to do. That's what you do. We appreciate your call, man. Oh, that'll end soon. Okay. All right, there's ever. Woo. That was difficult.
So I think when it comes to Roman, I think it had a lot to do with it. It seemed like they were forcing him to be the guy because of his lineage, the Samoan dynasty, all that. I think, and then a lot of, like you said, I mean, it didn't seem like he really had creative freedom. Everything was kind of it seemed like it was written out. It was, very not kiddish, but just
here's the thing,
watered down or not, And then I think once they took the reins off,
I see what you did there,
and
I see what you did there.
Let him be himself and really take it. I think it, I think it was. He has the look. I mean, his look's amazing. I think his persona since he's been the head of the table is definitely one that elevated him to that role for sure.
Yeah, man, everybody remembers him before head of the table. as suffering succotash. You remember that? What is What a horrible line. And well, then there was a time that John Cena just completely ripped him in the middle of the ring on a microphone. What's the matter? You forgot your line?
Yep.
Oh, it's gonna come to you. God, poor guy.
But I think they played it smart, not just with the head of the table gimmick, but I don't think that gimmick works for anybody else really but Roman because of the history of this, all the Samoans that came before him. I mean, it really fits what they were going for, but I think at the same time that they made him the head of the table was also when they gave him creative freedom. So, I think if he was using the gimmick, but they were still trying to write every promo, it doesn't work. And I think if you give somebody else the head of the table type gimmick, like somebody that, Cody Rhodes or somebody that's, had some history, a family that's in the business, I still don't think it works. I think it was just a perfect storm of allowing Roman to be Roman, but also giving him a way to tie in his family, his family ties into his character. And if it ultimately leads to where it's been rumored to lead to a one-on-one showdown with the great one in Hollywood.
I mean, unless you're talking about his most recent movie.
Oh, let's not go there. It's not doing too well.
It
looks like it's
not doing
fall about $200 million short of their what they needed it to make. Or at least that's where it's at right now.
That's awful. That's awful. Well, speaking of different stuff. Started a new segment last week. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I don't know if you want to lead us into it, or while you do that, I want to put my headset down real quick. I'm going to grab. I got me a Ghost energy drink. Give me a minute. I'm going to let Jonathan take over for a quick second.
Ghost, come on now! You got to be drinking the tea from Revolution Nutrition.
We'll get there.
It's what I'm sipping on. So the segment we started last week, we did a this or that segment where we kind of just gave two options. Lastly, it could be in our opinions, or just our opinions on whether somebody that had the most influence, or who we liked better. Just kind of comparing, just getting different takes on different gimmicks, characters, time periods, eras.
Yeah.
If you missed it last week, we went over who had the most WWE influence between The Rock and John Cena, and
I was split.
Our take on who was more important to their brand at the time, Sting or Taker.
That was split too.
It was.
Well, yeah, Brett, I would agree. You do need to get down here and try some of these teas at Revolution Nutrition in Camden, South Carolina, where you can follow them on social media at Revolution Nutrition SC. And if you decide to stop by, mention Lowdown and get 10% off, man. Also, in case you missed it earlier, you can do the same thing with Day Soul Coffee Lab.
Out of where?
Birmingham, Alabama. Speaking of, I see someone who's listening right now. The founder of Day Soul Coffee Lab is on the channels listening in. Shout out to Bert. Bert, we appreciate your sponsorship, man. But head over there. It is Santa Claus approves, okay? And that's all I need to know. Holiday blend.
It's good enough for me.
Warm cup. If Santa approves, it's good.
Speaking of Day Soul, I was looking the other day. I was just trying to pull up where exactly it was at in Birmingham, and I had because I saw.
Wait a second.
I thought on the label it had a different city, but but it was right outside of Birmingham. But I pulled it up, and I'm gonna have to take a trip down there, or make a stop by there. So my mom lives in Alabama. My wife's mom also lives in Alabama, but they live on different ends. My mom lives North Alabama. My wife's mom lives Southern Alabama, so we always meet her family in Pelham, Alabama. And the De Sol Coffee Lab address is like less than 10 minutes away from where we normally meet. So next time I'm down there, maybe this summer, I might have to go down there and check it out.
Shout out to Mr. A. Shout out to Crazy for being live in studio with us. Shout out to if your ID is showing as MQNTH.
Do you see anybody in there called Dane Shore?
No.
Okay.
But I mean, it could be this MQNTHDTU. If that's you, shout out to you. Thank you for joining the show with us. Man, I keep having conversations with Bert and saying, "Hey, man, I need to come down here." First of all, they have a brick and mortar there. They sell nitro cold brew out of it, and they've also partnered with another with a brewery, and they use their bourbon barrel reserve in a stout. And I'm like, oh my gosh, man, that's like music to my ears. It's like warms my tummy. Dude, I love a coffee stout. I love De Sol coffee. So
I don't know if I want any beer warming my tummy.
Well, I mean, it's a dark beer, so it feels warm with a steak. Very good with steak. But nevertheless, side note, using De Sol Coffee Lab and a dark beer to make chili, on point. You've had that. I know you've.
That was good. It was really good.
On point. So if you've ever made chili, highly recommend a dark beer and some good coffee from De Sol Coffee Lab. But this or that.
So I thought long and hard because trying not, I want to save some of these for when Mr. Door's back joining us.
Sure.
But, we'll go since I know we both kind of watched WCW. So who did you Harlem Heat or the Steiners?
So as I've gotten older, I've appreciated Harlem Heat more, but I was a big Steiner Brothers fan. I didn't like Scary Sherry. I just thought she was a mean woman.
She played that character very well.
I mean, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, man, that woman's just mean. I don't like her. But no.
From Savage to Sean to Harlem Heat. I mean, she played that character very well.
Two women managers that I remember very, very well growing up. These were women who stuck out to me. It was Scary Sherry and Luna Vachon.
Oh, Luna was scary. Luna had a scary look. I mean, Sherry was scary because of her personality, but Luna looked scary.
Miss Elizabeth, I don't remember her much. I understand she was beautiful and all that, but I don't remember her much. Scary Sherry is someone who like stuck out like me big time, and I was just like, holy crap.
What was your honest opinion of Sonny?
Sonny? I don't remember Sonny much. I remember Sable. Oh, I remember Sable. But no, I don't remember. I remember Medusa.
You don't remember Sonny coming out at all? I mean, not
with
LOD or anything.
No, I don't. So I remember LOD with
Ellering.
Yeah, Ellering. So I remember watching Bushwhackers against the Head Shrinkers. I loved me some Butch, right?
I bet you did.
Dude, it reminded me a lot of my family. That was the problem. So I would say Steiner Brothers.
I'm kind of in that same boat. I love the Steiners. Growing up, I still remember their tag match with Sting and Luger. I think Super Brawl, maybe 92, something like that. One of those.
Yeah. Surfer Sting. I love Surfer Sting growing up.
But I think Harlem Heat pretty much ran the tag division for most of WCW's run. Steiners kind of broke up kind of early. NWO kind of
caused that.
Yeah. They kind of went their separate ways and kind of came back. But both groups, I mean, you think about it, Scott definitely went on to become the bigger star out of the Steiners. And then you had Booker T definitely become the bigger star out of Harlem Heat. So out of those two, Scott's career or Booker, who would you take? Which career did you enjoy the most?
Booker. Five-time WCW champion. Now can you dig that, sucker?
Yeah, like the big bad booty daddy?
I like Steiner math, okay? That's what I like.
They definitely had key moments throughout wrestling.
Both of them did.
Spinneroonie.
It was
the grocery store brawl with Booker had with Stone Cold.
I could like Booker T real easily, and I liked him even when he was with Harlem Heat. I kept finding myself like him, just because of his work in the ring. The only time I probably really was like, Booker T sucks, was King Booker with Charmaine. That's probably the only time I didn't like Booker T.
Well, was it the fact that you just didn't like because he was a heel that you just weren't a fan, or was it?
I didn't like the whole King Booker thing altogether. I didn't like the stupid accent he tried to put on.
I think that's what made it work, though. It was just the fact that it was so off the wall from what you knew he was.
And I get that. I get that. Yeah, I do. I understand. But gosh, it was just like, I'm King Booker. And it's just like, oh, just shut up. This is not how you talk. I've listened to you for the past 15 years at WCW.
Now, if we're comparing valets, King Booker had Queen Charmel, and then Scott had Stacy Keibler.
Oh, yeah, Stacy Keibler.
Definitely a Stacy Keibler fan.
She got legs.
Yes, she does.
That's what Kid Rock said. But yeah, I would say I was more of a fan of Steiner. Now, as I've gotten older, as a kid, I was a big fan of Steiner Brothers. I like their look. I like everything about Steiners. As I've gotten older, I've appreciated Harlem Heat a lot more. So it's just one of those things. A couple things. Yes, Brett, you're right. WCW did have some great a beefy roster of tag teams. I completely agree with that. He said, Miss Hancock. That's what Brett said. Brett also mentioned that he loved Sonny and the Body Donnas.
Yep.
Jonathan said he agrees. Yes, to that. Also, real quick,
a lot of people in the locker room also like Sonny.
And outside of the locker room. Yeah. Hey, I tried to tell her 15 to get her 25. She didn't listen. Oh, wow. So first, shout out to Shane Dorr, who is listening right now. We hope you are enjoying Jamaica, Mon. I hope you enjoying Jamaica, Mon. Happy 10-year anniversary, bro. But hey, feel free to call in. We'd love to get a call from you. Get you on for a minute, dude. Thanks, dude. Brett says, "Tell pre-2008 Kofi we said hey." Speaking of Kofi Kingston in Jamaica, I watched the reel today, and I think it was right there around Survivor Series. You had DX in the ring, you had Mark Henry in the ring, Big Show in the ring, Kofi in the ring, and there was someone else. No, that was it. It was Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Kofi Kingston, Mark Henry, and Big Show, and they're all fighting. Mark Henry, Big Show, Triple H are arguing back and forth, and Kofi's like, "Hey guys, hey, we really need to just work together and stuff." And Triple H says, "Whoa, wait 1 minute. Aren't you from where'd your Jamaican accent go?" He's like, "One thing we all want to know, where's your Jamaican accent?" And like Kofi's face just like drops, and he's like,
whoops.
and Triple H is like sitting there looking at him like, yeah, where is it? And all of a sudden, like HBK completely changed the subject. Oh, it was so funny. I died laughing watching that today. Quite hilarious. So yeah, back to this or that. I would have picked. I definitely would have picked Steiner Brothers, but with a caveat that I do appreciate Harlem Heat a lot more now that I'm older.
Me too. I mean, I was always a fan of Harlem Heat, but I definitely think that their legacy has come into light a little bit more with the network, Peacock, WWE Network, and everything Booker's done for WWE.
He says, "Bro, did y'all see the New Day tonight?" No.
Yep, New Day showed up. I haven't seen it, but I know they showed up on NXT, and they're challenging for the NXT tag titles.
Come on, let's go. I love seeing that stuff. Yep, Brett confirmed that. Yeah, I had rehearsal worship practice at church, so I wasn't able to watch anything tonight before the show. So, but I'm all for Triple H mixing it up and stuff. So, is that it for this or that?
We can do one more.
Yeah, let's do it.
Vader or Yokozuna?
Ooh. In what respect?
More athletic.
Man, that's a tough one too. I mean, with Vader, you saw a 400-pound man do a moonsault off top rope beautifully.
Or just your favorite, and maybe not more athletic. Either way,
with Yoko, you saw a 600-pound man move so quickly, and when he was younger, man, the dude was an absolute beast and so good. In such a short period of time, I would say Vader had a better career, but his career was much longer. I feel like if Yoko wouldn't have died at such a young age, man, he could have easily been on Mount Rushmore, I think. I mean, you think, yeah, I agree, Brett. You think this guy, he was tag champs with Owen Hart. I mean, that was awesome. Shane said Vader.
So my ultimate answer would be Vader. Again, I was more of a WCW kid than a WWF kid, but it's not as, the gap isn't as far as I would have thought. I watched the Yokozuna, I think it was Icons kind of thing, and it really shed a lot of light on
it did. And
how athletic he was and like getting into the business, but then how much he struggled with his weight and just, ended up being his downfall. I mean, it affected a lot of things from his career.
I'll say this. Anytime Vader wrestled, for me, I hated the fact that he was probably going to beat who I was watching. Anytime I saw Yokozuna wrestle, usually I still felt like there was a chance that he could lose. Like, you hear the music. It's time. It's Vader time. And dude, you just see him walk out.
I was gonna say my biggest memory of Vader was him doing his entrance with the mastodon gas tank Bane looking shoulder pad helmet. I don't know however you want to call it. I mean, it was frightening. I mean, he looked terrifying. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah, the big metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However you want to describe it.
That's what I think about. Yeah.
And then I know Mr. Dorr is listening, and he said Vader, but that's probably because one of his favorite shows of all time is Boy Meets World. So that's actually my second best memory of Vader is him showing up on Boy Meets World.
Man, I wasn't kids. Howie, Frankie, yeah. Yeah, he Brett mentioned that too. He's like, man, and he was on Boy Meets World, automatic W right there. Yeah, Shane. Shane and Brett both made 2 good points. Brett mentions how Vader wrestled half a dang match with his eyeball hanging out. That's a literal must. Drink some of your Revolution tea real quick, Jonathan. Jonathan over here about to gag a maggot. Yeah, Shane. I think people forget about that. What you said. This guy Vader, late in his career, wrestled against Will Ospreay and got some of the biggest heat that I think you'll ever see in any match. Yeah, Vader, man, the thing about Vader is everyone everything I've heard about Vader outside of the ring says he's like one of the nicest guys you could have ever met. So, that's awesome. Oh, man.
But yeah, that was the 2 this or that's I had for this week.
2.
Shane messaged me and said Vader not even close.
Yeah, he put it in the chat too. Oh, Vader was on Baywatch. You're right. Yep, he was. Anytime somebody's with the Hoff, they win. Speaking of Baywatch, yeah, that was something that Baywatch was a show that I wanted to be the Hoff so bad growing up, just to be on that show.
How would you watch Baywatch but then not remember Sonny?
I just don't remember Sonny. I remember CJ from Baywatch. Who doesn't? I remember Yasmin Bleeth. So, no, there it is. There it is, Brett. So, Shane says, I know you want me. Double yes. That's what Brett said. So, that wraps up this or that. And man, we still got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. On a wrestling note, we do have a Ring of Honor Final Battle this weekend.
That's this weekend.
Yeah.
And man, the show looks to be pretty daggum good. And let's talk about something that I think personally, welcome Woody to the show, man. Shout out to Woody for joining the show and taking a listen to us. Funny name. Oh gosh. Anyways, we got a Ring of Honor Final Battle. And one thing that I think he says, hey, good day from Canada, eh? That's what Mr. Bush says. Final Battle, we got couple looks like it's shaping up, and I want to touch on something that I think that Tony Khan has done that I like is having these matches on Rampage or showing the different championships on Dynamite. I feel like personally has really brought Ring of Honor to light, right? So right now, we can go through the card. Ring of Honor Final Battle. We've got Chris Jericho, Ring of Honor champion, versus Claudio Castagnoli. We've got Daniel Garcia versus Wheeler Yuta for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. Again.
I mean, it should be a heck of a match, but this is like the fourth time now.
Is it the fourth or third?
Something. It might be the third, but it just seems like I don't think I've seen the Pure Championship defended without other than them two being involved. So Brian had it at one time, right?
Well, no. It wasn't Brian. It was the guy who's part of the varsity, not Blondes. He's part of Mark Sterling's group, the varsity something, with Tony Nese, Josh. I forget his last name. You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
But you have that again. You have Mercedes Martinez, which I really wish we'd see her more on television. But I get it. She's facing Athena. I think Athena goes over here.
I can see that.
They're pushing Athena. They've been pushing Athena pretty good. And I think this gets Athena a championship that in my opinion, she deserves. Really quick, let's go back. We'll come back to that. Daniel Garcia versus Wheeler. Who you got?
Garcia.
I think Garcia retains as well. The next match, we've got Swerve in Our Glory, Keith Lee and Shane Swerve Strickland versus Shane Taylor and JD Griffin. Let's go.
Oh yeah,
Shane Taylor's a freaking monster, dude. And I'm interested to see what happens with Lee and Swerve here.
Yeah, I kind of was for sure thought they were
done,
pretty much done and over. And then this past week, Shane Taylor came out, showed up on Dynamite and challenged Lee and Swerve to a match, and then Lee kind of accepted. Swerve was in the background smiling, so I'm kind of curious to see where this goes. If it's how they're gonna play this out.
Yeah, and the match I really want to bring up that I know the host of the Shane event, New York Greatest Export, Shane Dorr, is excited about. It's Samoa Joe versus Juice Robinson for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Juice appeared on AEW Rampage back in the on December 2nd episode, and he challenged the King of TV, Samoa Joe, for the Ring of Honor TV Championship. Dude, I think Juice gets it.
Joe could lose both belts in a week. He like we talked about. He fights, goes against Darby Wednesday for the TNT title.
I don't see him losing. I don't see him losing the TNT championship.
You don't see maybe Juice coming out to cost him the title.
No, if that did happen, I'd be for it. Just for the heat, which is funny because Samoa Joe's gone on heel, but like the pop is the pop is there. I agree, Shane. That's why I'm thinking Juice gets it too. Shane says I think Juice goes over now since he's under contract. I agree. One thing else that we also I want to catch up on some what's the word I'm looking for? Of the chat. Brett says he'd really like to see some. He asked, "What do y'all feel about restarting a Ring of Honor episodic television show weekly?" And I think Shane mentioned that he thinks it's coming in 23. I think we're kind of all under that impression.
So, just to not necessarily touch. Just to kind of touch on that. So their media call is scheduled for tomorrow at 1:00 Eastern time with Tony for Ring of Honor. I guess kind of leading up into the pay-per-view. So I could see maybe some teases dropped. during the media call. If not, definitely during the show of some TV deal or some kind of streaming thing. It was also reported that there's been a lot of Ring of Honor names that have been signed but have not been publicly announced yet. So I think they're definitely building up the roster behind the scenes to have their own standalone show.
It looks like Shane mentioned that as well. Shane said, rumor is TK has several talents under Ring of Honor exclusivity, not yet announced. Also mentioned, like mentioned just a minute ago, he thinks Juice goes over since he's under contract now. And also said, I think they're addressing the departure of Regal. And I see that happening too.
That report I saw said that the media call was scheduled for tomorrow, and one of the topics that Tony was going to go over was Regal.
Yeah, because Regal, my understanding is Regal had a clause in his contract that just said he could bail whenever he wanted to after so many months, right? And he's fulfilled those that short amount of time.
So if that was truly it, I mean, it seems that way for sure. I'm not going to pretend it's not. Regardless of what he may or may not feel behind the scenes, do you think his time in AEW was a success?
I mean, I don't think it wasn't. Him showing up was big, right? And the thing to remember is when he showed up, Vince was still in power in WWE. Vince was the one that chose to get rid of Regal. And what we found out was, he shows up and exactly. Shane said underwhelming, nothing bigger than the debut on the Smack. I was a fan of it.
I disagree. I mean, what more would you have wanted him? So his debut. I mean, his when he showed up, he got a large pop. We wouldn't have had the Blackpool Combat Club without him.
Yeah,
and that led to a pretty decent rivalry with JAS. Still going on. JAS. He kind of ushered in MJF's title run. Now that I guess was a little bit more disappointing initially than what I wanted, but he still got us there.
And hindsight looking in, right? Now that we know his contract is up, or there's a clause that allows him to get out quickly. Now that we know all this, who's to say that the original plan was different? And then Trips calls up William and says, "Hey man, I really want you back.
I want you back."
Yeah, I agree, Shane. To an extent, Shane says a GM role would have been an ultimate spot for him and a great middle finger to the WWE. But
I don't, like I said, we kind of touched on this earlier a little bit, but Regal hasn't officially come out and said anything, so we don't know if this statement is true or not. But it said sources close say that Triple H definitely valued his wisdom and his coaching, but it wasn't appreciated the way that he thought it would be by some in the AEW locker room, and that they felt their salary and multi-year deals, Regal's advice was behind them. And now some current AEW people have come out and said that wasn't entirely true, but that statement kind of resonated a lot because we also heard a similar statement a couple months ago when the whole stuff happened with Punk, that it was rumored that a lot of people behind the scenes didn't necessarily take to Punk's advice. So there may be more of a problem in the locker room than we think.
Yeah, and Shane says this is just the beginning, guys. Said it from the jump. Several more leaving. It's for me. You just have to let everything play out. Let the chips fall where they may. It's just one of those things that when you have someone who's been in the industry as long as Triple H has been, he's run a product, ran it successfully, only got taken away because his father-in-law felt like he wasn't doing a quote-unquote good enough job because he was quote unquote losing in the ratings, to AEW Dynamite because VKM felt like a brand new show shouldn't be like his what he called his third rate show, or felt like I think the majority of us listening to this, who have had conversations as well, would probably agree that NXT takeovers and other NXT pay-per-views have been much better in the past with Triple H at the helm than WWE pay-per-views with VKM at the helm.
No doubt.
So I think what we've seen since Hunter's taken over is he's injected life back into the WWE product. My question becomes sustainability. You can't do the same thing, but for so long. I think that's kind of what's starting to kind of bite AEW in the butt now. Is for so long they've kind of done the same thing and it's worked, but now people are like, all right, what's next?
It's got to go somewhere. And Shane has brought this up a good bit. Some on air, a lot more. Just our conversations we've had about. He thinks it's ultimately going to lead to a AEW WWE crossover, which I didn't really see happening. I just don't. I mean, it would be a heck of a show, but I just don't see just the amount of power and force that WWE has. Like, I just don't see them ever really acknowledging AEW or kind of putting them over in any way. But outside of MJF, there really hasn't been a lot of people, especially not on WWE side, that's really acknowledged a lot of AEW wrestlers. But within the last couple of weeks, I mean, there's Kenny came out and talked about Seth Rollins. Sami Zayn's come out and talked about Kenny and some of the AEW people. They showed the Young Bucks package had KO and Finn all in it, and different things. So there's definitely been a lot more openness, I think, on both sides of just communication and acknowledging other wrestlers. Maybe not the company, but like Sammy was talking about, not seeing Kenny in 10 years, and that he would like to have him see him at some point, and that he had a lot of friends elsewhere. So I just think it's just they're being a little bit more open with communication, it seems.
Well, and I think some of that has to do with the fact that they don't have to feel like they're going to get reprimanded just for mentioning another wrestler outside of the company in a post. Triple H gets it when it comes to relationships. I mean, some of his excuse me, some of his his best friends are wrestlers, and there were times where his best friends were not in the same company as him. So I think he gets it, with Kevin Nash and the late Scott Hall, and I think that's one thing where one of the many things that works in Triple H's favor is
I was watching a clip this week actually with Kevin Nash, and he was talking about Hall and said that Hall got the offer from WCW, and it was 3 times what he was making in WWE for half the dates. And so Hall was like, as a businessman, I don't have no choice. I got to take it. And so Nash was like, we'll see what they'll give me. That was his response. And he was like, and then next thing you know, I'm there. So,
man,
it's a business.
It is a business.
That's why Punk will be back.
Money talks, right? Am I right? Am I right?
The one thing we do have to look forward to this week on Dynamite is we do not get another Elite versus Death Triangle this week. It will resume next week at winter is coming, but not this week.
Speaking of, Death Triangle didn't go up 3-0 like we were thinking. No Boston Red Sox here, guys. No Boston Red Sox.
The Elite weren't going to lose 3 times in a row.
Shane says, Punk gone. He ain't coming back. Man. You don't think they'll lose 3 times in a row? No, they won't. No.
Not a chance.
No. And that, my friend, is why you don't have
if they were going
talent
to if they
and
were going to
EVP
lose,
roles.
it would have been last week. Would have been the week that they didn't fight Death Triangle, and they would have had a match in between. They're not going to lose 3 times in a row to at all. So they would have just thrown some random tag match in to get a quick W.
Brett says Punk going to MLW. I mean, he very well could. Very well could. He might end up on Ring of Honor.
They could team with Colt.
Stick it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that'll happen. Oh man. Oh. Yeah. Punk Championship Wrestling. Is that what PCW is what Brett said? Punk Championship Wrestling.
Got a nice ring to it.
It does. It does. So what else we got, Jonathan? What else we got on the books?
So I didn't get a chance to catch Raw last night. Were you able to catch any of it?
No, and I wasn't because I was doing Santa video chats up until about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I didn't get a chance to really watch it. By the time I got everything I used for my suit off and cleaned up and stuff, it was like 11 o'clock before I even had supper. So nope, didn't get a chance to. I do know one segment that happened though. Riddle was
good.
What?
I was just trying to read. I was trying to read the results to Raw, and it said, I just read it said Sami Zayn, I happen to be a certified Usiologist.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of Us, I saw something today that had Sami Zayn and Jay on the front cover. It said Step Usos.
Yep.
I'm like, please make that a shirt or something. That'd be great.
We did talk about Raw a little bit. We talked about Solo honoring Umaga.
Yes, we talked about that. They had a segment with Riddle in his match. Got injured and neck injury. Carter taken away in an ambulance and stuff. That was him and Elias were in the tag team match against the Usos.
Yeah, they did announce that Alexa's fighting Bailey, I think next week. The winner goes to
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
goes to the Rumble to fight Bianca. Sorry, Google said she didn't have an answer for me.
No, that was ALEXA. It said that she didn't have.
That's right.
Little Miss Bliss over there on the kitchen counter, talking back to Jonathan. But
yeah, Bliss versus Bailey. Winner goes on to fight Bianca for the title at Royal Rumble.
I think Bliss ends up making her turn.
Who?
Bliss.
Returns where?
Making her turn.
Oh, if they're going to put her in the title match, yes.
Yeah,
because we've seen Bianca and Bailey a couple times already. So
and they're both top faces right now. Not saying you can't have a face match. I'm just saying WWE tends to not have face matches. So, Brett says turning back to Bray Stable. Shane says, yeah, definitely going back. So yeah, that's what it looks like. Oh, he said she did Sister Abigail. See, I missed it. So if she's doing Sister Abigail in the ring, then yeah, she's going back. It's done. Done, son. LSJ, what's up? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you tuning in. Man, how about some IMDB? What we got? For those of you who aren't used to the show, we do a couple different segments here. Did this or that earlier, where we talked about Harlem Heat or the Steiner Brothers, as well as Vader or Yokozuna. Kind of elaborate on that. And this next segment I think we're going to go into is called. We've just been calling IMDB. So
yeah, we got to workshop a better name.
Yeah. Well,
we need all three of us here to do that, though.
Yeah, that's true.
10, 9, 10, 9.
Oh, great.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
On you, bro.
Alrighty then. So now this segment, so the IMDb rating. Usually we have Mr. Dorr here, and he's got a 6.0 on the, if it's a 6.0 or higher on IMDb scale. Well, we're starting to question that a little bit.
It's got a curve. there's a curve on that.
It's that New York grading scale, but you're normally, if it's a 6.0 or higher, he says he'll enjoy the movie. So we've just been kind of naming movies, letting him give us his rating, and he said that he could be within half a point either direction of IMDb.
Well, and he's in the chat right now, so I'm sure he's going to be answering. So
I only have 3 pulled up this week, but we'll do that, and then we'll just talk about what we enjoyed about each movie. So
I think Shane should call in on this segment. What do you think, Shane? Hit the little phone button. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, now entering the room. He is
Jamaica's greatest visitor.
Yeah, Jamaica's greatest import. Shane Dorr. What's up, man?
Hey.
Dude.
Hey, man.
Hey, man. Welcome to the show, man. And Jess. Hello, Jess.
Oh, man.
You see them?
I'm working on my Jamaican accent. Hopefully it's better than Kofi's.
Where'd your accent go?
How is Jamaica?
It's hot. It's beautiful.
Is Jamaican you crazy?
That's the name of a drink I had.
A lot of those.
Oh yeah. Look at this.
I've had a good day today.
Every 10 minutes, busy. Picture of a drink.
Yeah, busy. Yeah, it's been a good time, man. It's been fun. 10 years anniversary this year or this month, so it's this week. So definitely.
Well, man,
fun spending time.
We hope you and Jess are enjoying yourselves in that beautiful place. Hope Kevin George has treated you well while you've been there.
We saw him today. He came and visited us, and I gave him I gave him a gift. I hadn't seen him in almost 7 years. So he was our what do you want to call him? He owns a cabin company in Jamaica.
Sure.
Yeah, we stayed in contact with him for 7 years, and we touched base again today. He came to the hotel and had a nice conversation. So it was cool. I mean, I think the most fun part about something like this is the relationships, building relationships with the local people.
Kevin George, how much you charge me to, I don't know, go to Food Line? $4. Isn't it like $4 like for a Food Line run for Postmates or something there?
$3.99.
Yeah, it's a good price.
That's not here, Elliot. That's back home.
Oh, I thought you was talking about there. Oh, why would you even bring up Food Line here at home?
There ain't no Food Line in Jamaica.
Listen, I don't know. They're global, right?
Oh my God.
Food Leon.
Okay, that's that. Oh man, I'm crying. Okay, let's do this.
No, let's do this. IMDb.
Well, I do want to give another shout out to Jess and tell her thank you for letting you hop on for a few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taking some time up from your anniversary trip.
Hope you guys have enjoyed the show. I know my little girl enjoyed spending time with your oldest today, next door. So they played together for a little while. They enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, all right. So let's get in it. By the way, we have all these different new sound effects now. So I tend to just press one and see what it sounds like. Like that. Or
okay.
That one goes on for a while.
Yeah, we can mix that one.
Is that Sting?
Hey,
Sting. Where's Sting at? All right,
pointing right at me. All right, so movie number one, The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler remake.
The one with Goldberg.
Nailed it. Great colleague.
I'd probably say 6.2. Definitely had a lot of funny parts, a lot of funny moments. Tracy Morgan in it was hilarious. Gold. all the little quips with Stone Cold and Nash and Goldberg. I think there's a lot of fun. It's a lot like Ready to Rumble for me.
Why are you yelling?
In that it had so many clever one-liners in the film, but to me it has nothing on the original. But bringing back Burt Reynolds for the remake as an ode to the original was really vital to the film, I think. Yeah, I'd say 6.2. Definitely not anywhere close to my Adam Sandler top favorites, but it was an entertaining film for sure.
I like there's he broke my nose. Oh, like a young Michael Jackson. More distinguished.
I love little Mike.
I love little Michael.
Speaking of Tracy Morgan, it's a funny story.
I got fries that'll cross your eyes. I got a shakes that'll make you quake.
I actually met Tracy Morgan.
A lot of people, you can't forget my boy Michael Irvin. He's in that film too, so that's always good.
And Nelly.
Hey, but
Chris
he's so
Rock.
fast, not fast.
Romanowski. I mean,
yeah, there's a lot of big names in the film, but I just don't think it hits home like the original.
What? So you met Tracy Morgan? You said?
Yeah. So I actually met Tracy Morgan. It was really weird how it happened. So I was in New York for work and was staying in Times Square. Walked out of the hotel and was kind of waiting on some people just to meet, go walking around, and pretty much for the most part, I mean, what you see is a lot of black SUVs and taxis kind of driving the street. You see a few other cars, but those anything else kind of really stands out. Well, like out of nowhere, I see this red Ferrari coming right at me, and I was like, so I just got out my phone and was just going to take a video because it was just pulled up. It ended up pulling up right in front of the hotel. I'm recording I got the video. I'm recording the car pull up. Not once, I was just recording for the car, but the guy beside me was like, "Man, it looks like Tracy Morgan in the driver's seat." He opens the door and out gets Tracy Morgan. So he knew the owner of the hotel or was friends with the owner of the hotel, so they would let him park in front of the hotel, and he would run across the street to Olive Garden to get food. And so he had an event and pulled up, but when he got out the car, he kind of stopped and talked to like the 5 or 6 of us that was out there and took pictures with us, and seemed like a really nice guy. But it was just weird. That was one of my first New York experiences. I was like, well, this definitely don't happen like this back home.
That's awesome.
So you gave Longest Yard, you said what? 6.2?
Yeah, I'll say 6.2.
I'm going to say 5.7.
6.4.
Very good, Shane.
So within that 5 or 0.5.
0.5. 0.5. Low or high? That's what you get. What's next?
Perfect.
Half a star.
Never heard of that one.
No, from The Longest Yard. But movie number 2, one of our I think one of all of our favorites, or at least from an enjoyment standpoint, The Hangover.
The first one?
The first one.
Oh yeah. That's his, oh my god.
Classic.
7. Wow.
None of the table, Carlos.
7.8. I think with Zach Galifianakis, and you had Bradley Cooper. I can't think of the not Bartha.
Ed Helms, not Ed.
Ed Helms, the
Ed
dentist.
and
I
Justin
mean,
Barth.
there is so many. Yeah, Bartha from National Treasure. But yeah, there is so many lines in that movie that really just just are so memorable. And a movie's really good when you have a group of guy friends and you always try to relate yourself to The Hangover, and you try to point out which one's which in the film. So it's a classic when you do that. And just all the lines in the movie and all the moments, and Mike Tyson and the Phil Collins scene with the music and the baby, the baby's jacking his little weenus.
Jacking his weenus.
That whole the whole film is pure
satchel
raunchy comedy, and I love it. One of my favorite scenes of the film is when Ed Helms realizes his tooth is missing.
Yes.
When Ed Helms realizes, he looks in the mirror and he sees his tooth is missing, and then he's like, "I am so effed." It's just that whole scene is hilarious. I think.
Doesn't he realize he got married?
Yeah, to a hooker. And he was supposed to. He was getting. He had a horrible. Yeah, it was, and that was ironically, the hooker was the Graham girl, Heather Graham. Yeah, so I think it's the best one in the series for sure. There's 3 of them. I'd put it up there near the top as far as the rating. I would say 7.8, maybe a 7.9. I just think it was incredibly well done.
I mean, just you were naming all the kind of the actors and actresses playing it. We can't forget Mike Epps playing the other Doug.
Yes,
the other Doug,
and Mr. Chow.
Ed Helms goes. I'm sorry. You mean the drug dealer at the gas station is not a nice guy? I mean, that whole movie is hilarious. 7.8, 7.9. Pushing a solid 8 in my mind, but I got to be somewhat reasonable.
I'm going to say 7.3.
7.7. So Shane's pretty close. I got to try to
I almost went too high. I'm pushing it, but it was
Brett says, "Hello, Heather Graham. Hello, nurse."
What kind of laugh was that?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
All right. And then I had Elliot give me movie number 3 before we recorded. I was just name a movie, and he came up with Blockers.
Okay, well, Elliot already knows what I think of that film. I think Leslie Mann and John Cena are absolutely hilarious. The whole movie was that again. I like these adult raunchy comedies are probably one of my favorite genres of films. Films like Sex Drive and The Hangover, of course. I think they're all, I don't know. That's just my forte. But again, this was typical. What's her name? Leslie Mann. All of her films are all the same to me. All those comedies, no matter which one she's in, it's just different actors playing different roles. But so I would put it down the lower 6 scale. Probably maybe 5.9, 6.0. Just because it's just stupid. I mean, it's not as there's funny parts, but it's not like the story is not as good as, say, The Hangover or as well scripted. But I would say 5.9, 6.0. John Cena is hilarious in that film, though.
John Cena's in that film?
No, you can't see him, but
could have fooled me.
Wow. You made me second guess myself for a second.
What say you, Elliot? What's your rating?
I would say probably 6'2".
Right on the dot, 6'2".
Nailed it.
Crushed it.
It was good. I did enjoy it. I do kind of agree with Shane though. I mean, I enjoyed the movie a lot, but it definitely didn't have not as memorable as a Hangover or some other movies that are kind of in that genre, just from a like quotability or key parts. But it I think it solidified Cena in his comedy role. I think that's where he needs to stay.
I agree. And I like him as Peacemaker too. I mean, he does a really good job as Peacemaker.
Not nearly as good as Shawn Legacy.
If it wasn't for John Cena, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. No, John. He does a really good whatchamacallit as well, Peacemaker. So, well, Shane, appreciate you jumping on here, man. Go back and enjoy your time with your wife. 10 years.
Yeah, time to Netflix and chill.
There you go.
You watch Bad Boys yet?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Like I said, by the time I get back in person, I will have it watched. Yeah. So
as long as it's watched by next Tuesday, we're good. I still got to watch Soul Men too. I've had to do a lot of family stuff.
I promise I will have the original Bad Boys watched by the time we get to next week's episode.
All right.
But I appreciate you guys allowing me to contribute my part, but I must depart.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your time in Jamaica.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, man.
Travel safe back. Yeah. I know you're not going to want to come back, but
he's got kids.
Well, I got kids. I'm ready. We're ready to get back to the first day we got here.
Well, great.
No, I mean, somebody's watching the kids. They could fly with them down to Jamaica. He ain't got to come back.
Shit, the kids there. I'll just throw them in a crate. Put them in a carrier.
That's right.
All right, see you guys. Y'all be safe.
All right, Jonathan, leave my sister alone.
I was gonna go by there and say hey, but I did not. I fought the urge.
All right, guys, appreciate you.
All right, man. Later.
See you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was host of the Shane event, New York's greatest export, Shane Dorr. Movie buff. Gives a lot. No, he
had to wait till he got off this.
Shane's a big contributor to the show.
For sure.
And everything. We appreciate everything he does. Once again, happy anniversary to him and his wife. 10 years. Good on you, mate. That's what Martin Stone told me. Called me mate. Mate.
Good on you, mate.
Love it, mate. So, man, NFL, it's here. Week 12, 13.
It's been here for about 13 weeks.
Well, before we get to that, though, college football playoff had a interesting championship weekend.
Yeah, it definitely made things interesting by the end of it.
We had some predictions this past.
I don't remember this.
Of course you do. We just made a couple predictions. It wasn't anything.
I know. I think I was more right about the sit bench cut than I was about championship weekend scores.
I don't know. Well, I was gonna say I don't know if I was right about scores, but I was only right really about one score.
On the money.
And that was K-State versus TCU. But let's get into those. You had Georgia versus starting with the SEC. You had Georgia versus LSU. And man, I I don't know how Georgia doesn't end up winning the national championship again this year.
Definitely where I see it going.
And if Stetson Bennett doesn't get the Heisman, and he's getting robbed. Kids played phenomenal. They've got a stellar defense as well. So I don't know. Brett says nobody cares about the playoffs. Let's talk about the literal Orange Bowl and the Gator Bowl. We'll get to that, Brett. College football playoff, though.
But yeah, so a quick rundown. So Utah beat USC. USC was ranked 4th. So that was the first domino to fall.
And they beat them handily,
it
too.
Wasn't even close. TCU lost to Kansas State in overtime by 3.
Called that one.
TCU was ranked 3rd, so that was the other domino where it was like, okay, well now
what's going to happen?
Where are they going to go? Georgia beat LSU by 20, so they kind of won handily. Tulane beat UCF by 17. Michigan beat Purdue. That was kind of expected. They won by 21, and then
but it didn't look that way.
It didn't start that way. And then much to the
chagrin
of me and Mr. Dorr, Clemson wallop North Carolina 39-10. But not to our, and to our credit, we have been behind Cade Klubnik playing, at least getting a chance to play, just to show what he could do. He definitely delivered, at least this time on the big stage, though. I mean, SEC championship. So.
Yeah. If you've tuned in, you've heard us go back and forth, especially since the Notre Dame game, I'd say, especially since the Notre Dame game, back and forth of, hey, Jonathan and Shane both, hey, put Cade in, let him run the team. I've been on the other side of, hey, well, coaches see him in practice. Sure, there's got to be a reason he's not in there.
And you brought up a couple times that in the action that Cade has had, he hasn't really played that great. But I know he didn't play the first snap of this game. I mean, DJ technically did start.
Yeah, first 2 series.
But it's hard to judge somebody. I mean, if you come in, first, second series, whatever, it's still kind of hard to judge throwing somebody in once the game's already started. I think you got to give him a full game, and he pretty much had the full game. I mean, DJ didn't last long. I mean, he was out.
Well, where I kind of agree with that, my judgment isn't coming off the Notre Dame game. I mean, you put anybody in at that chance when you're down by, I think we're down by 21.
Yeah, I mean, you're coming in trying to make something happen. So you're coming in.
That's not where
not on a clean slate.
That's not my reason for at the time saying, hey, no, he's not your guy. You don't need to put him in yet. He's not ready. It was coming from Louisiana Tech and Furman, where he got in the games and he wasn't productive. When you get in games against Furman and Louisiana Tech, especially when you're recruited and as highly touted as he is, man, you've got to put up numbers. And unfortunately, in those games, he didn't. So that was my reasoning was, hey, Notre Dame, it was a prayer throwing him in there in the Wolves, in the midst of the Lions or whatever, having them try to do something. 0-for-1 with a pick. You're putting a young quarterback in a situation where he's bound to fail, right? I understood that situation. I wasn't faulting him for that situation. My response was playing Furman, playing Louisiana Tech. Hey, if you're the guy, throw up some big numbers. And at the time, he wasn't the guy. Now, that being said, ACC championship game comes in 3rd series, and he probably throws the longest pass of the year.
It was definitely close. I mean, I messaged you because I didn't know you said last week me and you were texting. You said that Clemson hadn't had a 100-yard receiver all year.
All year.
I was like, that can't be true. I mean, they've scored 50, 60 points. I was like, it can't be that. And I went back and looked, and there had not been a game where they had a 100-yard
Joseph
receiver.
Nagata, up until last game, had the highest they'd had was like 87 yards.
And they did have one this past week.
101.
Right at it, 101. And it was like 90-something towards the end of the game. I think they just might have threw that pass just to get them over that 100-yard mark. But,
67 of it was on one play.
Just doesn't, it could be just coincidence or, but first game that Cade really had a chance to play most of the game and get a 100-yard receiver. So, yeah.
Yeah, but but here's we also saw that, his numbers, he had a 281 efficiency, I think is what they,
20 of 24.
Yeah. I want to say that his efficiency rating was like 281. Not QBR. His QBR was high too, though. In comparison. But he had an efficiency rating of like 281 or something like that. It's ridiculous.
I've changed my stance. I said that he should have started the Carolina game, but the fact that Carolina won and then he played this good, I'm just glad he did. They stuck with DJ.
No, it's just one of those things that I trust coaching. There's a reason they get paid to do that, and I don't. I can be a couch coach all day long, but at the end of the day, they're making that determination.
Speaking of coaching, it did come out that
Prime time.
Coach Prime is leaving Jackson State to go coach at Colorado.
Yeah, I saw something today that said SWAC stands for somewhere around Colorado. So it's interesting.
Big move.
It's a big move.
There's already a lot of rumors of some transfer portal players interested or reaching out, trying to get to Colorado.
Well, and
Prime did
he's taking Shador and what's his name with him.
Very serious, and I've seen some comments that people didn't really appreciate the way he handled it, but I think it was kind of a ballsy move. He had his meeting with the Colorado team and basically told most of them to transfer. He was like, we're here. I'm coming. We're here to win. We're not doing the same old thing that we've done. So, he's definitely bringing some of his own players. He's definitely got some other players interested in, I think instead of having the kids stay there, trying to make the team, I think it's not necessarily telling them to get out, but, just telling them like, hey, we're definitely bringing in some talent. If you're interested in playing, you might want to think about moving schools. So,
but
he was honest.
And you can't ask for anything better than that. At least the coach is coming in and saying, hey, here's the direction we're trying to go, guys. You may not be good enough to make the cut.
Yeah. And I also watched his press conference, or not his press conference, his part of his meeting with the Jackson State team, and none of them had anything bad to say. They were all,
they all praised him,
a closed door meeting kind of thing that they recorded, but all the players were giving Prime his props and were thanking him for what he's done for them and stuff.
This guy came in, he changed the culture, man. He completely changed the culture of HBCUs in football. And that's a testament to him and his character and his ambition. So kudos to Coach Prime. Congratulations, Coach Prime. And I put this in the chat, and I'm willing to say this on air. Shador Sanders will be a Heisman winner.
I'll bet a T on that one.
Sure.
But no, I think at the very least, it definitely makes Colorado's games more TV ready, and definitely
with
something to see.
Listen, with the transfer portal, you could see something with the way the transfer portal is now, and with the popularity and everything that Coach Prime has. You could see the worst team in college football become the number one team in college football next year.
It could happen.
Can you imagine? Oh, it could happen. I mean, can you? But seriously, I mean, that would be Hollywood-esque. I'd love it. I would absolutely love it. I invite people to go and check out Colorado and become a Buffalo and let Colorado just make it to the national championship against Clemson. Or USC. South Carolina.
I was gonna say,
yeah, not Southern Cal, not Southern Cal. I hate Southern Cal, like with the heat of 1,000 suns. I pull for the Gamecocks when they're not facing Clemson.
When you say USC, I think you like Carolina, but
the majority of people don't.
I gotta judge your mood when I know you're feeling a certain way. You love it, SC.
That's a little jab.
I'm like, oh, he's in his feelings. All right,
I just put a little jab in there.
It got a little butt hurt.
Listen,
hey, after the first January 1st, it's just USC again, so we're good.
So Brett says, so you're saying the Gamecocks have a chance? Record it. Elliot said the Gamecocks will be number one. I mean, if you know, Stogner's leaving. Rumor is Jaheim Bell's leaving.
He's in there. They said he entered
the portal. So
when I read Stogner's name, it caught me a little off guard because he was such a big name coming in, but he really didn't do. I mean, he was a good blocker, blocking tight end, but he didn't really do much from a offensive weapon standpoint. So
Bell's gone. Yeah,
Bell's gone. I'm curious to see what Rattler does for sure.
Yeah,
I think he's going to stay another year. I just don't see I think his value could be a lot higher. I think he's headed in the right direction, but I think if he declares for the draft, he's definitely not like top 3 or 4 QBs. So
there's been a couple people who said that there's a chance Rattler transfers and goes to another school. Stogner might be going to back to Oklahoma. But there's a big time tight end right now, tight end from Maryland, is looking to transfer. Who first offer he got was from South Carolina. So, I mean, dude's a stud. He's 6'4", 6'5", 250 pounds, 240 pounds, something like that.
Yeah, I sent it.
Put up good numbers.
So if you guys the other day, obviously there's a lot more people that have put their name in the transfer portal since then, but they're like the number 9 at the time. Like the number 9 player in the portal was a wide receiver transferring from Charlotte, and he's actually from Irmo.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on where he wants to go, what he wants to do, I mean, he could choose to come home.
He could.
So
there's a lot.
I think if Rattler stays, I definitely see Carolina hopefully learning based on the last two games and opening up the passing game a little bit more.
Question becomes NIL money. Who's gonna be able to throw that NIL money around better? And now it's coming down to with these transfer portals. I think now it's coming down to money. Where can they get the most bang for their buck? And that's going to be a payday and winning. If you have the number 1, number 2 guy in the nation go to a trash school, but he's getting $3 million a year, then it's one of those things. Oh yeah, he's going for the money. But I mean, you very well could see a top quarterback, top running back, top wide receiver, top anything go to a school like South Carolina, like Clemson. Like,
I mean, you had the number 1 recruit in the country go to Jackson State last year.
Yeah, $1 million at Jackson State. He's going to transfer. What do you think?
I would say so.
Think he leaves Shador and Shador's brother and Coach Prime?
Yeah, I mean, I would bet that he goes to Colorado first, but I definitely think he's away from Jackson State.
Brett says he heard that Rattler has like $1 million NIL deal. That sounds about right. I think I've read that too. He also said, I can't remember who it was, but I saw someone say I liked it better when college athletes got paid under the table. They weren't making nowhere near the coin they're making now. So But
But yeah, so that was a quick rundown of championship week. But yeah, like I said, so the number 3 and the number 4 team lost, so it made things interesting come Sunday when they released the college football playoff rankings. But luckily, I mean, me and Ellie had a kind of heated debate about if it was going to be TCU or Alabama, because I wanted to see TCU in. I think they definitely deserved it. I think a couple of years ago they got slighted because they didn't have their conference didn't have a championship game, so they played one less game than everybody. So they didn't, based on the championship results, they got jumped going into the last game. So I think if they would have added the championship game and then something would have happened that caused them to get out, it would injustice.
I think they made the right decision.
I agree, but I thought my honest thought. I mean, I thought Alabama was gonna jump them and go in just from a Alabama, Georgia potential SEC. Seems to be the way it kind of weighted. But I was glad to see I was wrong.
Yeah, and my thing with that was if Alabama went in, then you have complete bias. It shows there's bias in the college football playoff. Which the whole reason for the college football playoff was to say, hey, there's not bias. So top 4. You go ahead.
I did read a comment yesterday, I believe, that said it wasn't the best 4 teams that were in the college football playoffs, but it was the 4 teams that deserved it the most, which I think is how it should be.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you could have really good teams, but I mean, if you're playing your schedule and you get to that point, I mean, you deserve to be there. But I think that it definitely makes it more interesting and I think a little bit more accurate to determine who the best team in college football is once they switch to the 12-team playoff.
Yeah,
for sure.
So just to give you an idea of if they'd have the 12-team playoff today, you'd have Georgia, Michigan, TCU, Ohio State, all with the first round bye. You would then have Alabama versus Washington, Tennessee versus Penn State, Clemson versus Southern Cal, Utah versus Kansas State. That would be your first round playoffs.
Just one thing. So Alabama would not. I think they would fight Tulane,
conference champion.
Because the top 4 teams get a bye, but it's the top 6 teams.
Oh, that's right. Because you have to factor in the conference champions.
6 conference champions automatically get in, and then the next top 6 teams. So Tulane's actually ranked 16th, but they were their conference champion, so they would be in, and then Washington would be out.
Yep, makes sense. So Alabama will face Tulane, Tennessee, Penn State, Clemson, Southern Cal, Utah, Kansas State.
Yep. So. But as we have it now, the
Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU.
Winner of both of those games play for the championship.
Who you got?
I want to see Georgia and TCU go at it. I want TCU to take it all. I think just to
kind of stick it to the big guys
a little bit, and show that they definitely deserve to be there. The Georgia Ohio State matchup, I think, is going to be a little bit.
I think it's intriguing.
Closer than I think people are going to come out with now. I mean, so I want TCU to win, but ultimately I think Georgia takes it.
I think I think Georgia ends up
pretty much looked unstoppable all year.
So. Yeah, so I feel like the Georgia Ohio State game, Georgia has a greater chance of losing that game than if they face TCU or Michigan.
I agree.
But I think Georgia is your defending national champion, and I think they get it again. Brett says UGA versus Michigan. Michigan gets the win. I mean, that's possible. Michigan's they play good, and they've done well since they've faced Ohio. It's like they got momentum. They're lighting, hitting their stride at the right time. They've been good all year. Don't get me wrong, but it's like they've taken it up a notch because they got a little bit more moxie. They after beating Ohio State, they've said, you know what, yeah. But yeah, so that's the what we got right here in the college football playoff going on.
And then the other major 4 bowl games, you have Utah, Penn State. You got that one.
I think
that's
Utah
in the Rose Bowl.
Utah, dude. Here's the thing: Rising or Rising. I forget how he says his name. Reason. That dude
terrorizing.
That dude, since I've watched him 3 years with Utah, and that dude is just, man, he is a beast. He took that pop from USC the other night. SC, I guess to distinguish between two. From Southern Cal, he took that pop and he just like got up and just like laughed at the dude. I'm like, come on, bro. That dude, he's a gamer, man.
Yeah. So speaking of USC plays Tulane in the Cotton Bowl.
What's the status of Caleb Williams?
I think he's playing
because he was pretty hurt the other night.
I saw somewhere that he was going to play. I could be wrong.
I think they were worried that he might have torn a hamstring or something or messed up his ankle. If Caleb Williams is healthy, Southern Cal wins. If not, I'll pick Tulane just for the sake of it.
Yeah, I don't see anything else about his injury. They said he was uncertain with hamstring 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So hamstrings are hard to get
to
get back from.
Yeah.
All right. Then you Sugar Bowl, you got Kansas State versus Alabama.
Said Kansas State versus Alabama? Alabama.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think that one will be as close.
No, it won't be.
And then the Orange
Bryce Young's ready. Bryce Young's trying to make a statement now.
And then Orange Bowl. You got the
at Clemson.
However you want to name the bowl. Teams that lost to Carolina. Aren't you glad you're not playing Carolina this week?
Clemson.
But I think Clemson. I think Tennessee wins.
Hendon Hooker's out. He's hurt. He ain't playing. If Hooker was playing, I might be more. If Hooker was playing, I'd be more inclined to pick Tennessee. But Hooker's out.
Yeah. Now that Cade's playing, I guess I'll go Clemson.
He's been out the past couple of games.
DJ was playing, I'd go with Tennessee.
Tennessee's defense isn't that good. If Clemson will run the ball, only make Cade pass when he has to. Don't try and get him 30, 40 passes. Let him pass 25 times. I think if you start trying to make them throw 35, 40 times, heck, 50, 60 times back in the day, you try and make them throw that many times, man, that's just too much. We have a solid run game. Keep it balanced like we did against North Carolina. I think we're good. Even though we only had 86 yards rushing against North Carolina. The attempts were there. But I think that's what you do.
And there's actually, outside of the major 6 bowl games, there's only 3 other games between top 25 schools. So you have one of the early games, you have Troy versus UTSA.
University of Texas San Antonio.
Yeah.
Sure.
Ranked 25th.
Why not?
I think Troy wins that one. And then you got Texas versus Washington in the Alamo Bowl.
I'm with Texas.
Yeah, that's probably who I'm going with too. And then the Gator Bowl, you got the Gamecocks, USC Gamecocks. Versus Notre Dame, Fighting Irish. I'm playing in a bowl named after a team I've already lost to. Yeah, that we both beat Clemson Bowl. Yeah, that's it.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is favored, but I got to go with Gamecocks. Ride the momentum.
Nah, there's not that much momentum, especially with Bell. Bell leaving, Steiner leaving.
So Bill's stats also weren't really that great. I mean, he
wasn't
very
that
athletic.
He wasn't that great because you had a horrible offense coordinator that wouldn't give him the ball.
Well, he's going to, so ride the momentum.
That's why. Bye, Satterfield. You suck. Brett says Coastal and ECU is going to be fun as well. He also wants to know our opinion on a Heisman snub. Heisman snub, but who? Are you saying is there a Heisman snub, or do you think there was a Heisman snub? Oh, Hendon Hooker, how he was snubbed for the Heisman. Man, I know Hooker put up amazing numbers and stuff, but hey, the Carolina game messed him up.
Well, I think if he would have been
getting injured,
healthy,
and getting injured,
he would have probably been in the conversation. But I think missing that last game, even with the Carolina loss, I could still see him being in conversation or being one of the finalists. But missing that last game,
he got hurt. Did he get hurt at Carolina?
Yeah, he was out. He got hurt, I think, in the fourth quarter of the Carolina game.
I got you.
And then he didn't play the last week.
Yeah, I mean, so Hooker doesn't get hurt, and if Hooker beats Carolina, doesn't get hurt, where I personally think the Heisman should be the same as the MVP. I don't know why it's not looked at it that way.
I mean, Tennessee won 56-0 against Vanderbilt the following week after he got hurt.
He said he put up almost more amazing numbers per game than most in the Heisman running. Hey, I'm not arguing, but Jonathan makes a good point that they played Vanderbilt the week after he was gone, and they put up 56 points. So maybe it's not Hooker, maybe it's the system. So, which we know Heupel's been known for to have very, very good, very, very good systems offensively. So yeah, and I very, very possible. Like you said, Brett, he could have put up 156 points against Vandy. We just don't know. All right, so last segment that we like to do as we help you prepare. You got anything? Well, let me before I close this box. You got anything else for college football, man?
No, I think that's it. Just looking forward to enjoying some bowl games. I'm actually off the whole week after Christmas, so I'll actually be able to sit down and enjoy some of these games.
Yeah, that'd be good. Very nice.
That scared me.
Then this next segment we like to do is called Bench 'em, Start 'em, Cut 'em. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to give call out 3 games happening this week. I'm going to ask Jonathan from that game, based on the defense, would he start, bench, or cut? I'm going to give him three games, and we'll find out 3 defenses, 3 quarterbacks, 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs, start, bench, or cut. So, Jonathan, we ready?
Ready as I'm going to be.
All right, here we go. I got Philly versus New York. I got Cleveland versus Cincinnati. And I got Jacksonville versus Tennessee. With those 3 games, at quarterback, who are you benching? Who are you starting? Who are you cutting?
So I'm definitely starting Hurts for sure, hands down. I mean, out of the 6 quarterbacks that are playing in those 3 games, definitely Hurts. I'd probably bench Burrow. I think he's probably going to be the second best quarterback out of those games. And then I got to cut Deshaun. He did not play well.
Or does he have a breakout game now that this is his second game back and he's in Cincinnati?
I don't know. It's a long time to be out.
Cincinnati's on a roll too. So
they are on a roll. It's a long time to be out though. So I thought he was going to have